Scaffold nets must be tested for fire retardancy at approved labs before use, under tightened oversight rules. Hong Kong's first Chinese medicine hospital opens, with extra slots to be added following full booking for the first month. And major banks in Hong Kong keep their prime rates unchanged, despite the U.S. Federal Reserve's rate cut. Good evening, you're watching Cable News, I'm Quentin Yang. In the wake of the deadly Taipo blaze, the government has announced stricter fire safety oversight of scaffolding netting, requiring mandatory testing at designated laboratories before the materials can be used in construction sites. Jeremy Zhu reports.
According to the Development Bureau, contractors in the future must provide fire retardant certification of their netting. After shipment arrives, independent inspectors will randomly select samples for mandatory testing at approved centers. The entire process must be video recorded. If any sample fails, the entire batch must be replaced before it can be installed.
If any contractor does not comply with the requirement regarding the testing and also putting up the scaffolding nets. For example, they put up scaffolding nets without going through this on-site sampling and testing. That will be a violation of the requirement, and the immediate result is the ceasing of works.
A register of approved testing centers will be published as soon as next week, with a target turnaround of 1 week for results. To prevent major delays, the Construction Industry Council will manage bulk purchases of compliant netting during the transition period, aiming to have the first fully certified batches on sites within a month, allowing stalled projects to resume. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Deputy Chief Secretary Werner Chuk stated that relief payments and long-term rehousing arrangements for the victims from the Taipo fire will only be offered to those who bought and moved into their flats before the tragic incident. The clarification comes amid reports of individuals attempting to purchase units at Wangfu Court at a low price following the blaze. Jeremy Zhu again reports.
At the Wangfu Court site, cleanup operations continued. Grab dredgers were seen removing bamboo scaffolding and debris. Police from the Disaster Victim Identification Unit remained on scene to gather evidence. Adding to previous measures, the government will hand out a disbursement of $100,000 per eligible household for homeowners. Taking to the airwaves, Chuk said the land registry's records will be used to verify the purchase date of the flats. The funds are expected to be deposited into qualified applicants' accounts in the coming days. He emphasized that the government support fund will continue to assist affected residents without time limit. Separately, speaking on a different program about rebuilding the estate or relocating the residents, which could take at least 4 years and cost between $4 to $5 billion, Vincent Ho, president of Hong Kong Institute of Building Safety, suggested the Housing Authority should lead the effort, given its greater resources in housing and land. He also proposed a more flexible combination approach by splitting the resettlement across several locations, rather than locating one large site for a single rebuild. Ho added that any new site would face height and density limits, but the most critical factor remains the consensus of the affected homeowners. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Hong Kong's first Chinese medicine hospital opened its doors today in Tuen Kwan O, offering outpatient, day patient, and clinical support services at government-subsidized rates starting from $180 per visit. Cheryl Yun reports.
Health Minister Lo Chong-mao inspected the hospital in the morning and reviewed patient services. The facility on Pak Shing Kok Road was fully booked for its first month, and extra slots will be added to meet demand. One of the first patients praised the affordable fees thanks to subsidies, and she hoped for more support to ease the burden on chronically ill patients like herself. Patients visiting the hospital can choose between two options. Subsidized services cost $180 per visit at general clinics and $250 at specialized clinics. Alternatively, market-oriented services let patients pick their preferred practitioner at a higher price tag. Services span 6 specialized clinics covering internal medicine, external medicine, gynecology, pediatrics, orthopedics and traumatology, as well as acupuncture and moxibustion. Hospital Chief Executive Bian Zhaoxiang stressed that Chinese medicine plays a leading role in the hospital, while supported by Western medicine. The focus is on combining the strengths of both systems so they complement each other and deliver better outcomes for patients, achieving 1 + 1 being greater than 3, Bian said. As a government-owned facility operated by Baptist University, the hospital will offer outpatient, day patient and allied health services in its first year, with inpatient care starting from year 2. It aims to reach 400 beds by late 2030. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Lawmakers elect to learn about rules in the Legislative Council and the ceremony that will swear them into office next month. Both newcomers, including tourism sector's Vivian Kwan, and veterans including Starry Lee and Ronick Chen, gathered in the Legislative Council for a briefing session. They were introduced to the LegCo Code of Conduct, Declaration of Interest, and other legislative rules. Stepping on the iconic green-carpeted floor, the lawmakers-elect watched a demonstration of the oath-taking ceremony in the legislative chamber.
本人就任中華人民共和國香港特別行政區立法會議員。
The elected legislators also learned about the voting system. They were reminded that, even though some votes are anonymous, their attendance will be recorded under a performance monitoring mechanism. The 8th LegCo term will begin on January 1st, with the oath-taking ceremony scheduled in the same month. Mainland authorities have issued a new advisory urging citizens to refrain from traveling to Japan in the immediate future, following a series of earthquakes that hit the country. In Beijing, Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun explained the advisory was issued after Japanese authorities warned of potentially larger quakes to come. Since Monday, multiple earthquakes have hit northeastern Japan, causing injuries and triggering tsunami warnings and prompting evacuation orders for thousands of residents. As this marks the second such warning in less than a month, with the first one citing a deteriorating security environment in Japan and provocative remarks made by its leader regarding Taiwan. The Foreign Ministry justified the new one as serving a fundamental diplomatic duty to responsibly protect Chinese citizens' safety and health. Chinese nationals already in Japan are urged to stay alert to disaster warnings, follow local evacuation orders, and avoid high-risk areas such as coastlines. The Chinese embassy in Japan also encourages them to register via an official app for targeted safety alerts. In case of emergency, citizens should contact local Japanese authorities or call the Chinese diplomatic missions in Japan for assistance, it added. Initial findings into the Louvre heist in Paris suggest the incident was caused by systemic operational failures within the museum. The museum's director is due to appear before the French Parliament next week to answer questions. Jeremy Zhu has more.
In mid-October, the Louvre was robbed in broad daylight, with historical jewelry worth over $100 million stolen. The items remain missing to this day. Following an order from the Ministry of Culture to conduct a thorough investigation, details from the report were revealed months later, exposing a series of security failures. The report states that when the thieves broke into the scene of the crime, only one of the 2 nearby surveillance cameras was functioning. Furthermore, the museum's security center did not have enough screens to display live surveillance feeds, causing security staff to switch to the live footage only 8 minutes after the thieves had already fled. In addition, after the alarm sounded, police were initially dispatched to the wrong location due to a coordination error, resulting in critical time being lost. The head of the investigation indicated that police or security personnel missed the opportunity to apprehend the thieves with the stolen goods by just 30 seconds. Head of the French Senate's Culture Committee, Laurent Lafont, described the report as revealing a total failure in security responsibility on its managing authority. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Pizza, pasta, and tiramisu, these are no longer just the classics on an Italian menu, as they're now officially part of the world's intangible cultural heritage, making Italy the first country to have its entire national cuisine recognized by UNESCO. Sherry Yuan tells us more.
It's a joyful day for Italians and pizza lovers around the world as Italian cuisine has officially been added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. The honor was approved by the United Nations Cultural Agency at a session in New Delhi, India, celebrating the culinary practices, gastronomic qualities, and the deep social and historical significance of Italian food as a communal tradition that brings people together to share culture, flavors, skills, and memories across generations. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni celebrated the recognition, saying Italian cuisine is far more than just food or a collection of recipes, but also culture, tradition, work, and wealth.
Italy cuisine is our most formidable ambassador. It accompanies tourism, enriches Italy's cultural offering, and enhances the desire across the world to get to know the places and people that make Italy absolutely unique.
Italy already had 13 other items on UNESCO's intangible heritage list, including the art of Neapolitan pizza making, recognized in 2017. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado reached Norway safely, but failed to arrive in time for her Nobel Peace Prize award ceremony. She reportedly made it out of her country in a secret and dangerous journey in defiance of a travel ban. Jimmy Liu has the story.
In her first public appearance after months in hiding, Machado waved to cheering supporters from the balcony of a hotel in Oslo. The 58-year-old sang the Venezuelan national anthem with the crowd. She then came outside and greeted them in person. The Wall Street Journal reported that Machado planned her escape with the help of a Venezuelan network. The report said Machado departed from Caracas in a disguise and managed to go through 10 military checkpoints. She then took a boat to the Caribbean island of Curacao, where a private plane flew her to Norway. However, Machado was reportedly delayed by bad weather and could not make it in time for the ceremony. Her daughter accepted the award on her behalf. In a phone call recording, Machado thanked the award committee for recognizing the Venezuelan people's fight for democracy.
So many people that risked their lives in order for me to arrive in Oslo. And I am very grateful to them. I'm very sorry to tell you that I won't be able to arrive in time for the ceremony.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government said Machado would be considered a fugitive if she traveled to Norway. But the opposition leader told BBC that she would return to her home country knowing the risks she was taking. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Major commercial banks in the city are keeping their interest rates steady, even though the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority cut borrowing costs for a third consecutive time. HSBC and Bank of China Hong Kong announced they would keep their prime lending rates unchanged at 5%, while Standard Chartered said it was maintaining its prime rate at 5.25%. They would also maintain their Hong Kong dollar savings rate at 0.001% per annum. Meanwhile, HSBC said it would also cut its US dollar savings rate by 12.4 basis points to 0.001% per annum, effective tomorrow. This came after the US Fed lowered its key rate by a quarter point to a range of 3.5% to 3.75%, with HKMA following suit by cutting its base rate to 4%. HKMA Chief Executive Eddie Yu stated that while local interest rates generally track U.S. trends, individual banks set their prime rates based on funding costs and market conditions. While acknowledging that lower interest rates would benefit Hong Kong's economy and property market, Yu urged the public to maintain vigilant about interest rate risks as he highlighted significant uncertainty regarding the future path of U.S. interest rates. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index closed 10 points lower. Top active stocks of the day: Alibaba was down $2.60. Tencent was down $1.50. Meituan was up $1.50, while SMIC was down $1.55. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy, sunny periods during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 21 and 24 degrees. Moderate to fresh easterly winds, occasionally strong offshore and on high ground tomorrow. And that's your news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.